How many players actually win at online poker? In today's video, we're going to graph population win rates from micro-stakes to mid-stakes and see what percentage of players are actually beating the games at each stake. Hey guys, TomBoss21 here, and in today's video, we're going to be graphing population win rates from NL10 to NL500. We'll be answering some pretty interesting questions like how many players actually win at poker, and does poker actually get easier as you move up? We'll also be showing you a really useful tool that you can use to determine if your own win rate is luck or skill, something that converges much faster than traditional methods. Let's dive in. Without further ado, here's that chart. Right now we're looking at NL10, and we can see on the x-axis, the player's win rate in big blinds per 100. On the y-axis, we see the player pool density. So at the very top of this curve, we can see that most players at NL10 are losing at -9 to -10 big blinds per 100. This represents like the median player in this player pool. As we increase the player pool, so if we take a look at NL25, we see that the curve seems to have shifted to the right. So in other words, at NL25, the average win rate is higher. And the same is true going from NL25 to NL100, and NL200, and NL500. You can see that the curve keeps shifting to the right. So why is that? Why would poker presumably get easier as you move up? For example, there's many more winning players above this break-even line at NL500 than there are at lower stakes. And the short answer to this question is just that NL500 has significantly lower rake. We're going to dive into this question more later on, but it's important to realize that the percentage of winning players at any stake is largely just a function of how much money the house is taking out of every pot. Now, some caveats about this graph. First of all, I'm not taking players' win rates at face value. I'm applying a Bayesian correction. So up here you can see it says Bayesian adjusted win rates. And I'm going to show you how this works. But suffice it to say, this correction essentially makes the win rate much more accurate and converge much faster than taking it at its raw value. As we all know, poker win rates take many, many hands to converge. So that's why I've done this. Moreover, the data for this was taken from publicly tracked sites from 2023 to 2025. Now, I think a lot of players look at this and they might scoff. Like, I can already tell the average live players looking at this, like laughing, like, what are you talking about? No one gets better than 10 big blinds per 100. You're crazy, man. Like, that's like a low win rate where I play. And like, you know what? Fair enough. This does not represent all of cash game poker. When selecting a game of poker to play, there's 3 factors to consider. You want it to be safe, soft, and high volume. Safe, meaning that there's good game integrity, it's a fair game, and you can get your money out. Soft, meaning easily beatable for a high win rate. And volume, meaning you can play many hands per hour. The tragedy of poker is that you can only choose 2 of these. So, for example, if you want a game that's safe and high volume, well, now you're playing regulated online poker, which tends to be hard. If you want a game that's soft and high volume, well, now you're generally playing online clubs, which are kind of sketchy. And if you want a game that's safe and soft, well, now you're playing live cash games, which tend to be slow. Now, what I've just graphed in that previous section is regulated online poker, which is why the win rates are kind of suppressed. Some of you might be wondering what the unicorn zone is in between these 3, and that would be ring-fenced Ontario poker. Let's address the Bayesian update. So I told you before, I don't take player win rates at face value because they converge way too slowly. You need like 100,000 hands before your sample is even reliable. You know, it's a mess. Instead, I use this method, which is much better. So what I do is I start with a prior, which is just how much are players at this stake winning on average. And then we observe someone play. Say Bob wins 5 big blinds per 100 after 10,000 hands. Then what we do is we update our prior belief with the evidence, and that forms a posterior, or Bob's true win rate. The reason I do it this way is because this is going to give you a far more accurate win rate with much faster convergence. So you can get pretty accurate win rates in as little as 5,000, 10,000 hands instead of like 50 to 100,000. Now, many people don't really understand the math, and that's okay. I mean, you're poker players, not mathematicians. But let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine the prior belief, the population win rates, is like a spring anchored to some point. And the observed evidence, how much Bob has won or lost over so many hands, that's like a force on that spring. So that's going to pull the spring in some direction. Our posterior is just where that spring ends up after we pull on it. And so if Bob hasn't played very many hands, well, we're not really pulling very hard on that spring. But if Bob has a big win rate and he's won, he's played many, many hands, well, now we're pulling pretty hard on that spring and we start to believe the evidence more and more. And so in this way, we get much more accurate ideas of players' true win rate in a much shorter sample. At the end of this video, I'll show you how you can use this Bayesian update in order to assess your own win rate. But for now, I want to return to the question of what percentage of players are actually winning at poker. Here you can see a table that shows the stake, winners, and rake. And as we move up stakes, the percentage of winners increases. What's interesting is it seems to scale directly with the amount of rake being paid. So at NL10, only 7.5% of players are winning, but keep in mind that on average, the house is taking 9.1 big blinds from each of those players' win rates. That makes it pretty hard to win. Whereas at NL 500, the rake is only, I measured it to be only negative 3.8 in this sample. Now, this may seem surprising to some people, like why is this so low? Keep in mind, guys, that this Bayesian adjustment is pessimistic by design. It basically says, if you don't have a big enough sample size, I don't believe you. So what happens in a lot of cases is a lot of players could beat NL10, but they haven't put in the sample to prove it yet. So what we can do instead is look at the raw data without any sort of update applied, and then we get these numbers. Now, these numbers are noisy, right? Like, I only filtered it so that players have 100 hands. The problem is that filtering for lots of hands, you end up with only regs, and that skews your data. So this is like just taking the raw win rate at face value. And we can see that we get a very similar thing happening at NL10. There's 25.8% of players, and then at NL 500, we legitimately get more winners, 30.4%. So I think what's happening here is we get two things happening at once. Firstly, as you move up, the rake decreases. We know this is true. And the competition increases. But these two things don't happen at the same rate, right? So for example, going from NL 200 to NL 500, the competition isn't that much tougher, right? What is meaningfully different is the amount of rake being paid, right? So I think at NL 10, it is legitimately soft, but you don't really get a huge rake break going from NL 10 to NL 25. You do, however, get a fairly tougher playing field comparatively. And similarly, from NL 25 to NL 100, you don't really get a huge break on the rake, but you do get a tougher playing field. And so what actually determines how tough your games are in practice is the rake and how many stakes below it exist, right? This is for the same reason that, micro stakes online is about the same skill level as 1-2 live, is just because that's the lowest stake available in that pool. Anyway, my conclusion from all this is very simple. Do whatever you can to escape the low stakes rake trap. It really is so overwhelmingly significant to your long-term success, you have no idea. Another good question to ask is, well, what about the regs? So what I've done next is I've filtered for high volume players. These are players that have put in at least 5,000 hands within my database. Now, they've likely played many more hands than that in their entire life, but I have 5,000 hands on my sample on them. And what happens when I do this is that their raw win rate jumps up from 29% of players winning to almost 50%, with an average win rate of 1.2 big blinds per 100. And the reason this happens is that volume is just very strongly correlated with skill. Now, I don't mean to say that anyone who's played 5,000 hands is a reg. That's a little silly. But I think the implication here is that high volume players tend to be stronger on average. And you can see we also get this really interesting skew in this graph. Like, it's very, very hard to have like a crushing win rate, but there's plenty of 5K plus players with like a hugely negative win rate. So we get this like long, fat left tail of like losing players and a very tight right tail of crushers. If you've made it this far in the video, thanks for being a dedicated watcher, and I'd like to give you a free tool. This will help you determine if your results are luck or skill using the Bayesian adjustment I was talking about earlier. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description. All right, here's the free tool. So the way it works is you want to enter stuff in these blue boxes here. Okay, so let's say that you're winning at 7 big blinds per 100. You've got a standard deviation of 95. You can just select one of these here and it's going to just pre-fill that value, or you can customize it here. Okay, for most 6 max online cash, 95 is a pretty good estimate. And let's say that you've only played, let's say 7,500 hands, and at your stake, you're losing, let's say 6 big blinds per 100 in rake. Now, important distinction here: this rake amount is the population average win rate in a sense. So like, don't type in your amount after rake back. This is before rake back. Down here we have the population spread, and this defines the standard distribution of true player pool win rates. So I recommend leaving this at like 7 or 8. This is, I've measured this, and 7 or 8 is going to be a pretty good estimate for the population spread. It's maybe a touch higher in live games, but yeah, this is usually pretty good. Now, if you're not sure what your rake is, I recommend clicking this link. This is the Prime Dope rake lookup. And if you scroll down to the bottom here, you can see the rake in big blinds per 100 at different stakes on different sites. And this is going to act as a pretty good estimate. So just as an example, let's say you play, I don't know, Unibet, and you play 50 NL, you would type in 8.69 big blinds per 100. Your rake would be negative 8.69 big blinds per 100. After you've done that, you're going to see, first of all, this thing here. So after only 7,500 hands, your Bayesian win rate is negative 3.2, give or take a little bit, and you're better than 75% of players. Okay, so we can still get like a pretty accurate estimation of where your win rate is, even after a really small sample. Now let's say that you keep going on and you get this up to, let's say, 20,000. Okay, what happens is we're now more confident that you're a winning player. You're better than 87% of players, and your Bayesian win rate is, now it's positive. And you can see what happens is we've got 2 curves. So here on the left-hand side, this is the population PDF, or probability distribution function. So this is like every player at your pool. We assume it's just normally distributed. And then over here, this is you. This is our posterior belief of your win rate after your observed data, right? And so as we increase this, let's say 50,000 hands, we're going to become more and more confident that you are indeed a winning player if you can maintain this win rate, right? And so that's how you use this thing here. There's also some interesting stuff calculated on the back end, but I'm not really going to get into it. You can play around with it if you want. But I think that this method, just by itself, even as simple as it is just much, much faster when it comes to determining players' true win rates. So if you want to give it a try, again, link is in the description. Make a copy, enter some stuff, and tell me in the comments what you think. All right, guys, that's my video. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something. Let me know if you guys want to see more of these types of like exploratory data science type videos, or if you'd prefer more poker strategy. Anyway, that's all for now. Happy grinding.